أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي أشدد به أزري واشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. There is no God but you. Glory be unto you. Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. O Lord, show us the good of this world and the good of what this world points to and protect us from falsehood. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Happy Saturday. Looks like my voice is not clear. So let me just quickly hop in onto another device. So while I do that, we are continuing on with the fourth matter. So give me just 30 seconds. Alrighty, assalamu alaikum. So pretty much we are continuing on with the fourth ray on page 82. We were going over Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. For us, God suffices and He's the best disposer of affairs. How can we apply this in our breathing in and breathing out that we do every moment? So it's good to know all this, that for us, God suffices. He's the best disposer of affairs. But what does it mean for me? What does it mean for my endeavors? What does it mean for my affairs? Anything that I'm interacting with or experiencing, really, because we're experiencing creation, we're experiencing the universe, we're experiencing things that it's really hard to even give a name to. So last week it was interesting. We touched upon how everything is acting as a mirror to everything is just acting as mirror through the different meanings that I encounter within myself and around me. So sometimes it may seem that you may be a reflection of what I experience, or the tree out there may be a reflection of what I experience, or another human being is a reflection of what I have the potentiality of going through as well. And I think where we left off, and that was something intriguing to me, was belief is the very life of life. So our friend here, Nursi, sort of understood that belief is the very life of life. That's very interesting, actually. It made me really question what belief is. Again, I don't come from a traditional Muslim community background, never grew up in a Muslim community. So somebody tells me about belief, I really doesn't click at all with me. So I really need to maybe work it out organically in terms of my feelings and emotions and what I experience. So I think because what we experience here is life, we experience life and we enjoy things, and sometimes we may not enjoy it. So a nice sunny day is joyful. Youth is joyful, but it passes quickly. And so you wonder, really, what does enjoying something actually means? It's very drop by drop. It's experienced drop by drop, and the moment you enjoy it, it leaves you. And similarly with different experiences, lack of something then makes you appreciate its opposite. So lack of light really makes you appreciate light. Lack of hunger makes you appreciate hunger. And so what is this belief? It's the very life of life. Like, really, I think to me, at least now, it seems like the existential core of the matter. What is this life that I'm interacting with? Because I want to know, like, what's all this struggle for? Why do I have so many worries in terms of, even with worldly affairs, worldly matters, you try to sort it out, but sometimes things just don't go the way that you anticipate. And so you question all this, really, like, is it even worth all this? I mean, what is all this stress for? What is all this sweat for? And I think trying to connect with the verse, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel, for us God suffices. Like, sure, something suffices for me, I'll love it, I'll enjoy it. And he is the best disposer of affairs. And on top of that, there's somebody who's in charge of my affairs. Tell me who it is. I want to connect with such a one, because here I am, I need help with all my affairs. So that's just pretty much some very experiential takeaways. But I'll pause and just to see if anybody wants to make any comment or share anything from what was covered last time, or if you feel like speaking. All righty. Inshallah, we can start with the fourth matter today. All right, those of you who joined us in, we are reading from the fourth ray, page 82. Bismillah. Fourth matter. In order to learn what the true pleasure and happiness of life consists of in this world, I again pondered over the verse, for us God suffices, and he is the best disposer of affairs. In order to learn what the true pleasure and happiness of life consist in this world, I again pondered over the verse, for us God suffices, and he's the best disposer of affairs. Look, I can really connect with this first just piece. I'm sure you all can, especially with the initial reflections that were shared. We're all changing. We realize that youth is gone. Some of you may be younger, but it just dissipates with the blink of an eye. And then you experience things, and so you really wonder, just like Nursi here is sharing a really human, genuine concern. Like, I want to learn what the true pleasure and happiness here, what is it really? And so it seems that all of us need to ponder over Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. So many of us may have heard this growing up. I certainly did. And so what is this really understanding of this verse about? For us, God suffices and he's the best disposer of affairs. So I guess that's the journey we're looking into. I saw that the purest pleasure and most untarnished happiness in this life of mine lay in belief. Oh, Nursi, can you just explain me what that means? I saw that the purest pleasure and most untarnished happiness. Now, who does not want an untarnished happiness? Right? It's just like you're enjoying suddenly. You just want that experience to last. So everything, unending happiness, untarnished happiness in this life of mine lay in belief. That is to say, so I guess the author, when he says that is to say, he's really explaining here, i.e., my certain belief that I was the creature, artifact, and totally owned slave. Highlight, totally owned slave. I think that can solve some problems of mine right now. Totally owned, not even 50%. And we're not even talking about partial, talking about totally owned. Wow. Okay. At least, inshallah, I need to work on this piece. So my certain belief that I was the creature, artifact, and totally owned slave of a compassionate sustainer. Somebody who's compassionate. Oh boy, why don't I see that compassion all the time? Of a compassionate sustainer who created me and gave me life. Haha. So I'm definitely, nobody can deny that we're not created and we're given life, definitely. And was in his view and was being nurtured by him. So I was in his view and I'm being nurtured by him. It's being nurtured by him. Oh, this is weird. How come the H here? Maybe it's a typo. It should be capital H. What does your book say? I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. That I was all the time in need of him. Oh my goodness. And that he was both my sustainer and my goddess and was most kind and compassionate to me was such a perfect, permanent, pain-free pleasure and happiness that is indescribable. I understood from the verse just how appropriate is the saying, all praise be to God for the bounty of belief. Look, this sounds all good, but really need to apply this. So let's try to understand this a little bit. So that is to say, my certain belief that I was a creature, artifact, and totally owned slave of a compassionate sustainer who created me and gave me life. So pretty much everything that I'm experiencing, everything that I think I belongs to me or I think I own is not mine, it's given. Hashtag given, right? And gave me life and was in his view and was being nurtured by him. That I was all the time in need of him and that he was both my sustainer and my God and was most kind and compassionate to me. Was such a perfect, permanent, pain-free pleasure and happiness that it is indescribable. I understood from the verse just how appropriate is the saying, all praise be to God for the bounty of belief. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, that's all praise be to God. So it's very interesting here that like whatever we are experiencing, it's a need for something. So remember when I said lack of hunger make me appreciate hunger, lack of light make me appreciate light. Same thing, I experience lack of everything, but that lack of something it's a call, it's a reminder towards that which I need to be thinking about, that which I need to be caught up with, rather than looking at my bills. I should be caught up with, what all this point to, who is sustaining me, who is the compassionate one, and so on and so forth. So only with living with this awareness will I experience a perfect, permanent, pain-free pleasure and happiness that is indescribable. Well, how do you do that? That's my question to you all. Yeah, how do I attain a perfect, forget about perfect, I mean, nobody's perfect. In this universe, how do I attain a pain-free pleasure? Because pleasure comes with a cost usually. You enjoy something and it leaves you, and you're left in despair. So how can I attain a pain-free pleasure and non-stop happiness that is indescribable? Yeah, that's my question to everybody. While you guys are thinking, let me type it on the chat so somebody can share it. How do we attain a, what was the question again? How do we attain a pain-free? How do we live with pain-free? And non-stop happiness. And so that's just the question out there. So anyone, if something comes to your mind, share it out. But then he says, I understood from the verse just how appropriate is the saying, all praise be to God for the bounty of belief. So definitely there's being thinking about something, gratefulness is going on, but about what? The bounty of belief. How do I connect this bounty of belief with solving my problems, my existential, pretty much every problem points to existential crises. So how do I utilize the bounty of belief? How do I attain the bounty of belief? Here's another question. So I'm just throwing some questions out there. How do I attain the bounty of belief? Another question. And the first question I can, so two questions. How do we live with pain-free pleasure and non-stop happiness? And number two, how do I attain the bounty of belief? I'll mute myself. Anyone? Ali Murmur, go ahead. Thank you.
Very good question. Thank you very much. First of all, how do I attain the bounty of belief? I would say, now our subject is the fourth meta, is making a comparison between belief and unbelief, and then how do I attain the bounty of belief? To me, somebody may say no, but not related here, because it is another subject. It has been studied other parts extensively, parts of the book and by other people extensively, and we may talk about it, but in order to understand the argument here, I concentrated on, let's make a comparison, it says, because everybody says, somehow I am made. I didn't make myself. My parent didn't make myself. Either I am made by matter, I am made by something, a mysterious force in the universe, which is called nature, or some things that we understand, discover the rules, laws, principles acting in the universe by themselves, according to them. These laws are the cause of my existence. Some people say, I don't know how, but I exist. That's it. That's my real life experience. Some people say, no, there must be a creator. Now, of course, belief doesn't mean that I reject that I am created or I am given existence. The point is, yes, I am given existence, but why? By what? Now, the fourth matter says, the text says, if you understand that you believe in a creator who is not in the universe or limited with the conditions of this universe, who is this creator, originator, source of existence of this universe? What happens? I ask myself that it is really a solution for me. Yes, because this life on earth is mixed with happiness, and also, as you said, it costs a lot on my side. I am experiencing many difficulties, hardship in my life. That is my reality. So I must be honest to say that my life in this world is mixed up with mercy. Yes, I'm very happy to see the sunlight, but at the same time, storms, disasters, etc., and also people annoying me, or I am struggling to find my food and suffering from the bossy behavior of my employer. And some people are really transgressing my life, etc. Autotaxis belief in the compassionate sustainer. If I understand that my creator is the one who provides everything in this world, including good sides and also bad sides. Bad sides has two, again, two, how do you say, factors. One of them is you call them natural disasters, or there's calamities happening. No one is causing it, but it is created out there by the creator of the universe. The other one is human interferences. Human beings transgress my life in various ways, economic maneuvers or uh, uh, plots, uh, uh, or the political power, those people who have the power, and manipulating my weakness, etc., and also wars and power oppressing my freedom, limiting my freedom, etc. So how can I solve my problem? The author says, if you understand after searching, questioning, that you have a creator, he has given existence to this huge universe, okay? And also give existence to your being, including your body and your human side, okay? Now, yeah, I have been giving them, and the universe also looks very complicated and huge. So try to see which kind of creator he is. Is he the one who loves torturing you, or is he the one who wants to let you know who he is and who you are? Now, try to understand this. In order to understand who he is, I have to understand who I am, first of all. So, what I do, I am totally dependent. I am totally needy, as you previously owned slave of a compassionate creator, owned slave. It's a very important word. It means that I am not the slave of anyone. I am not the slave of anything of this universe, including the galaxies, cannot enslave me. All right. That's what I understand. But I am totally dependent on the will of my creator. Now, what is going on in me now? My will, free will, uh, chooses this way or another way. What is the essential place that the free will uh, plays the role is who I am, who the source of my existence is, who I am. So from time to time, because I have free will, I forget who I am. I start, if everything goes right, I start forgetting about the grace of my creator. I say, oh, I am making my life. I am very successful. I am a good man. I am uh, guaranteeing my future. But on the other hand, I'm getting old. I'm dying. I'm going to die sure. Oh, what happened now? Where is the pleasure? I'm going to die. So if I refer to the creator as the one who has graciously given this universe, this life, this existence, he must be doing something in order to make me keep my right relationship with him, not in order to torture me. For example, he has created me with an inevitable end of my existence, my life in this world, with death. Can he really mean to torture me between the uh, stress of tension of birth and death? I am happy that I was born, but I'm very unhappy and disappointed that I'm going to die. And I'm aging. I am giving very good qualities that I enjoyed as a youth man. Now I'm losing them. And I'm going to lose completely. There must be something secret there. I have to solve this problem. Why the creator is putting me in such a position that I cannot really experience and entertain untarnished pleasure without any blame. I understand it is not the process that we have to go into. If I understand that I am totally dependent on the creator of this universe, I must make sure that my source of existence, the source of existence of the universe, is giving the whole universe to my usage freely. He's a generous one. And at the same time doing something I may understand correctly that I have a free will. I may keep forgetting him. I may try an independent existence of my feelings, my actions, and he keeps reminding me out of his compassion because my reality requires to acknowledge him always. So I must make sense of the treatment I am receiving in this world as being created in the form of mercy to make me realize my reality, who I am. When I understand that if I owe everything to my source of existence, to my creator, that is my reality. What happens? That is called belief in the creator. So try to understand that he has given whole universe to me freely. So he's a generous one. He is training me and keeping the relationship between me and him on a very realistic base that I am totally owned. If I forget about it, there are many reminders again created by him, but they may seem to be turning my life unhappy. I don't care because I know that this training, education, reminding is out of his compassion, is out of his mercy, not to let me deviate from my reality. Then I understand everything is under his command, under his ruling, under his will. So I belong to him alone. Just believe in God reminds me I belong to him alone, and he is a wise one, generous one, and also merciful, compassionate one. Like the mother treats her child, wants to protect him so carefully. She pays more attention to the benefit of the child than protecting him, to pays attention to protecting the child from being subject to any danger. She's so careful. That's why keeps her eyes on the baby. She's not damaging herself. The baby is not damaging herself or himself. Baby is not damaging uh, herself, himself. Oh, this is more point of attention of the mother. Exactly, God is being so compassionate to not let me deviate from my reality. These are the things that I am struggling here. But if I understand that it is a merciful treatment. For example, if somebody asks me to run to I don't know, 20 miles, I would say this is a torture. But if my medical advisor says, you have to run 20 miles a day in order to recover this illness. Of course, here the illness is what? Falling into the mistaken understanding of my reality. But here is the example in terms of this work. If I have to run 20 miles a day in order to regain, for rehabilitation, regain my health, I would happily run to regain my uh, health back. It means depending on what meaning I attach to these troubles, running 20 miles seems to be troublesome, but at the same time seems to be a source of happiness. So I have to watch out for it. Then I will understand the beauty of believing God. Oh, God is my creator is the most compassionate. He will take care of everything. He knows what he's doing. I have to pay attention to whatever he creates, to see what is the news for me, how the mercy is receiving to me. That is the relationship between me and God. That's how the relationship should be between me and my God. Thank you.
Oh, Jazakallah khair, Brother Ali. That was very beautiful. It was, I think, a lot to ponder over about one's reality. And I think the analogies are always a great way to catch the main takeaway about the reality of my existence. because it's only through that then, we can connect our existence to a one that's caring for us, that's nurturing us, that's setting up the stage for our development here out of care and love. And when I hear the word care and love, it's just sparkles my eyes, because what else do you want? Hashtag love, hashtag care. I mean, human beings are made in a way where we want to be loved, we want to be cared for. And when we know that who truly loves us and who's truly caring for us, then it brings pleasure and happiness. And I would say the pain-free pleasure, just like Nursi says here, because then we know what everything points to. Then we know that only through this kind of training am I able to understand, or am I able to unravel what is it that I'm in need of. And what I'm in need of is really to, well, not only get to know who I am, but at the same time, getting to know who this caretaker is. And that's just a win-win situation, I would say, where I'll be a happy creature of my loving creator. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of reestablishing the relationship, because at every moment, like the totally owned part, it's true. I mean, it's a given, and when I deviate away from it, then that's where the tarnishing would start happening. And therefore, I think just be more aware that I really don't control anything beyond my realm of choices. So the things that I can control in terms of whatever's given to me, about the choices we make, then that's as far as it is. But the rest, the creation of anything, is brought into existence by the one who's given all the choices. So alhamdulillah, I would say all praise be to God for the bounty of belief. Yeah, still. So I think, yeah, that's what belief constitutes. It's really this state of being within me, this awareness within me of realizing this caretaker that puts me at ease and happiness. And that is indescribable. That's interesting also. Yeah, it's yeah, that's all I have to share for now, but let me see if anyone wants to make any comment, has anything to add. Okay, let me just check. All right, if nobody has anything more to add, then we can proceed with the next paragraph. Sarah Lalen, go ahead. Sarah, I'm not sure I saw your hand raised up, but I don't know if that was a mistake.
Assalamu alaikum. No,
Morning.
it wasn't a mistake. I just signed on, and when I looked at the paragraph, I just caught the last glimpse of what you said, Fariha. And I suppose because of how my day was appearing, this fourth matter, which again, I apologize for not being present, but it really caught my attention, and my feelings were very delighted, extremely delighted to read this. I guess the practical aspect of that was just waking up with a day that was rather overwhelming in its appearance, with emotional burdens and just practical chores, and a small human being that's extremely needy. It just appeared like a very burdensome reality for me, as I'm sure most, at least New Yorkers, can share, that there's a life of rushing and a life of things to do, and the human condition really we will often experience that. So I'll just share what really stuck out to me. Well, in my day this morning, when I asked for guidance for this burdensome feeling that was on my chest, this exact phrase, for us, God suffices, and he's the best disposer of affairs, came to me very early in the morning. So I just repeated it because it came to me. So I did feel like there was some sort of message in it for me. So for me to read this paragraph, it immediately caught my attention because, well, first of all, the true pleasure and happiness of life, that's a big claim. That's like the solution to the world's, really the entire world's human dilemma, is how to utilize this life to find true pleasure and happiness. Now, then some people believe it's in the house or in achieving a certain degree of something that's all related to this world. Now, this author, again, for me, it's very striking because I wasn't following the previous discussion. I just kind of land on this sudden, huge statement. And then this speaker is experiencing some sort of extreme pleasure and untarnished happiness, which again, is the greatest ailment maybe that people are struggling with in this world, is feeling very unhappy and unsatisfied, as we know. So to be a totally owned slave of a compassionate sustainer, those 5 words seem like the recipe in order to discover the true joy that he's talking about, that lays in this ayah, this passage of guidance. And then I was like, okay, so what was I not doing in the morning that disconnected me from these 5 words: totally owned slave and a compassionate sustainer? And then the answer follows, is that I forgot that these feelings are created, of what I had to do, these feelings that were overwhelming me of, whatever is going on. I forgot completely that the feelings themselves are created. I thought they were mine. And then being in his view and nurtured by him. So then my question is, if I felt like I was truly owned and in his view and nurtured, which is a very particular word, and that I was all the time in need of him, someone who's a perfect sustainer, would I really feel burdened at all at any point? And subhanAllah, the answer would be no. I would not feel at all ever burdened if I felt the power or the reality, the utmost reality in each one of those words. Like, I just feel like his words that he was guided to use, this author, may Allah have infinite mercy on him, are loaded words, and it shows how he really viewed himself. So then when I look back at the first sentence, for us, God suffices because, or not even because, and he is the best disposer of affairs, seems very befitting of a confirmable conclusion that brings total relief and pleasure, because it's like, okay, I am not I'm not anything that I thought I was, AKA someone who has to manage my feelings, someone who has to manage this day, someone who has to Because if I am created, then the creator manages for me. So alhamdulillah, thank you, Fariha, for doing this and being present and everyone. And I'm very grateful to land on this at this time, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, Sarah, thank you for sharing your comments as well. It does help, indeed, exchange of dialogue. Otherwise, monologue is not very helpful. So yeah, appreciate you sharing also our human condition, which we all go through. I don't know, somebody shared in a couple of weeks ago this quote that said, every morning, like there's always like, when you wake up, there's always like a new feeling that comes to you. Sadness, happiness, anger, whatever, you name it. Welcome it as a guest, because it's not yours. It's clearly not. They're just knocking at our door. And I think that's where we need to be more mindful of that. Okay, let me see how to handle with you, how to deal with you. So good points to ponder over. And another point I think, Sarah, you mentioned, and something I've been thinking about lately, of this condition of happiness. I agree with the part you said that nowadays I see a lot of people, even young people, like, I was like, wait, they're unhappy. I was like, wait, when I was your age, I never, felt that way. I don't know what it is, because maybe it's the world we live in. Maybe, I don't want to say like this, the new generation is, maybe everything is just accessible, social media out there. So I don't know. And definitely I do experience the unhappiness part, but like now at this stage and age of my life, but back then, not at all. Like now, obviously things are changing. I'm aging. Youth is not there anymore for me. But now I do find myself comparing to the younger generation, and I'm trying to understand. I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't grow up with all this Instagram and all that, readily accessible to me. So maybe I didn't realize that feeling of unhappiness. But now I do experience it, but but through different, I guess, trigger points. But I agree overall, as a species, human being, regardless of the generation or age level number, doesn't matter. I think we are in a crisis of being unhappy individuals. I mean, I can boldly, clearly state it, that I think we are facing this unhappiness crisis around. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can be older, senior citizen, or you can be younger. It's prevalent. So inshallah, we should, I primarily need to work on my state of being right now. And then I think we can all share in whatever takeaways we have. So Sarah, go ahead.
And also, he says, the last sentence, I understood from the verse just how appropriate is the saying, all praise be to God for the bounty of belief. So what you're saying, Fariha, about the calamity of this, really what Brother Ali repeats often, this very materialistic, worship of the world, even subtly, it's almost like somehow it's been very rooted in and even more, like you're saying, in the upbringing culture of this new generation, this very comparative, you have social media, so there's like a comparison of, and then a definition happening of what happiness might look like, because you're comparing your photos maybe to someone else's photos, or your lifestyle to someone else's lifestyle. But regardless of the problem, the focus is on the solution, right? Because there's many paths to the problem, but there's a single path to the solution, which the author beautifully summarizes very briefly, with the brevity is very profound. All praise be to God for the bounty of belief. So then my question is, okay, this claim is that there is bounty in belief, because really people are struggling and enslaving themselves to a system and a path of living for bounty, right? People are looking for whether that bounty is happiness or joy, or they're needing some sort of abundance, something more, right? People are struggling because they're working hard to achieve something more. And so and again, I take for granted is this bounty of belief, because if you were feeling the truth, I'll speak for myself, if I was feeling the bounty of the security and the true, I'll use his words, the purest pleasure and most untarnished happiness. If we can, feel that ourselves, the purest pleasure and most untarnished happiness, then that is the antibiotic for all human dilemma, is feeling that, and what a bounty of belief that would be, and how much we take belief, how much I take belief for granted. So I'm very happy when I receive a small recipe for success. That's a great reminder. And to remember this, hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil, or hasbunallah, for us, God suffices and he is the best disposer of affairs, as the key to true pleasure, by remembering, I'm sorry, his exact words were, I don't want to, totally own slave of a compassionate sustainer. That is such a relief. And there's so much bounty in that. So thank you. May Allah be pleased with him and bless him for delivering these guidance, and all of you for being present for us to commit to this study, because it's truly, like you're saying, Fariha, it's getting worse and worse. This extreme anxiety and depression is like a cancer that's very malignant, stage 4. It's like everybody, almost every human physical body walks with some sort of connection to it. So it's even more pressing of a time right now to be able to really explore the truth of this in our own practical life, starting with our breath, right? Like if we can feel a compassionate sustainer and nurturer in my breath, then it'll be an easy way to come back to a central, consistent reminder of this truth, that I'm totally owned, yet totally sustained by a compassionate nurturer, who is, as he says, most kind and compassionate to me. And he says, a pain-free pleasure and happiness that's indescribable. Even the word pain-free pleasure is so alarming for me, because now people are seeking pleasure in routes that are very painful. People are dying from them, physically and spiritually, emotionally, mentally, in all ways. And it's really almost like it's an epidemic that's the #1 killer now. So, and we are in the society of this plague, the greater plague. There's another plague happening too, as we all know. But so this just, I don't know, it's very alarming. And this is wonderful timing for the dissension of such guidance. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your comments. And I thank you also for joining us in, making the discussion more livelier, can have a little dialogue with someone. Thank you so much. And on that note, we will end with the recipe that you shared. The recipe for success is really recognizing and realizing and being aware that you and I, we are totally owned slave of a compassionate sustainer. And to be honest, at this point, I'm not even gonna fuss about the author using the wordings. No, I think we need to focus in on what these wordings are. I think we're so spoiled, we're like, oh no, I'm not a slave. Okay, yeah, you're not a slave of anyone, but try to make sense of what all this means. How can I apply all this? So I think this is a beautiful recipe. Like you said, Sarah, for success, that you and I were totally own slave of a compassionate sustainer who really created us and gave us life. So on that note, let's stop here for today, inshallah. Next Saturday, we will continue on with the yes, the conclusion of this paragraph, but again, no rush really. I think it's better that we go piece by piece and try to really digest that, and really bringing in also, like I personally have a lot of subjects that I really am looking for, someone to talk with. Like I haven't come across, much, but that there is really a lot that, is being experienced that I see around. And obviously it's a reflection of what we have within us as well. So inshallah, I think the hope is let's go piece by piece and inshallah try to address those concerns as well. And also with what we experience around us and within us as well, inshallah. Just checking in the room to see if anyone has anything they want to add, share. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming in and for, making contribution. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you are all knowledgeable, all wise. وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة. Amin. All right, everybody. Islam.